Hello everyone. By the way, my name is Eugenio Jr. T. Peritos, and I will be discussing the cognitive development in adolescence and the PJ's formal operational thinker. Okay, so cognitive development is the construction of thought processes, including remembering, problem solving, and decision making from childhood to adulthood. So the adolescence is the time period of the child's life as he or she undergoes several changes to become an adult, and it is also the time that a lot of transition occur as the childhood's welcome to the journey of adulthood. So there are at least two or more areas of the brain that expand and develop significantly during the adolescence, according to research. So the corpus callosum, which links the two halves of the brain or hemispheres, and demyelination that enables the nerve cells to transmit information faster and allows for more complex brain processes. So the demyelination process is vitally important to healthy central nervous system functioning, and the myelination also occurs in the peripheral nervous system. So, according to Soundtrack 2005, in Piaget's theory about the cognitive development, the adolescents are very much motivated for their learning. So, meaning to say that the adolescent years are remarkable because the youth move beyond the limitations of concrete mental operations and develop the ability to think in a more abstract manner. So, therefore, the youth can now represent in their mind circumstances or events that they have never seen nor personally experienced. So let me show you this the PJ's cognitive development stages, which is the sensory motor, the pre-operational, the concrete, and the formal operational, which we are going to discuss right now. So the sensory motor, this is from birth to 2 years. From birth to 2 years, they can understand the world through the senses and actions, while the pre-operational from 2 to 7 years they understand the world through the language and mental images. And the concrete operational from 7 to 12 years, they understand the world through the logical thinking and categories. And finally, the formal operational from 12 years onward, they can understand the world through hypothetical thinking and scientific reasoning. Okay, so for PJ's formal operational thinker, it is the ability to generate hypotheses and test them systematically to arrive at a solution to a problem. So in this formal stage, a person can also think abstractly and comprehend a mathematical problem's form of structure. And according to Soundtrack 2005, the adolescence reasons in more abstract, idealistic, and logical ways during the formal operational stage. And in this stage, they have a much complex hypothetical thinking. Alright, so this is the characteristics of the formal operational thought, the abstract, idealistic, and logical. So when we talk about the abstract, the adolescents think more abstractly than the children. So formal operational thinkers can solve abstract algebraic equations, while the idealistic adolescents often think about what is possible. So they think about ideal characteristics of themselves, others, and the world. While the logical, the adolescents begin to think more like scientists, devising plans to solve problems and systematically testing solutions. So PJ called this type of logical thinking the hypothetical deductive reasoning. So the formal operational thinking consists of propositional thinking. This means that the youth can determine whether a statement is logical based solely on the wording of the statement rather than having to observe or recreate the actual scenario to determine if it is logical. Next is the relativistic thinking. The adolescents are more likely to engage in relativistic thinking. In other words, they are more likely to question others' assertions and less likely to accept information as absolute truth. So through experience outside the family circle, they learn that the rules they were taught as absolute are actually relativistic. And the real versus possible, it is examining a situation and exploring the possible in terms of situations or solutions. So, for example, the possible success in implementing a student project or school policy. Okay, so let me show you another example about the PJ stages of cognitive development for the formal operational stage for better understanding. So, from that picture, so we start with the sensory motor. So, when a child is born, it does not have any experience or thoughts of its own. So, when a glass of water is handed over to him or her, so they try to touch the glass and try to feel the warmth or coldness of the water. So this shows their senses attaching from their sensory motors. So later, when this kid grows till the age of 7, they get to know the liquid in the glass of water, and they can judge the situation of not touching it if it's too cold or too hot, since they start understanding the possibility of getting hurt. So these situations they learn are through personal experiences. And when these kids develop their conservative and logical thinking till the age of 11 years, so they start applying the learned concepts, like comparing the level of water in a different glass, or taking different sizes of glass with different volumes and filling them with water to compare the water level eventually. So at the age of 15, which is the formal operational stage, so kids can gradually able to describe the situations in better and clear words. So they can explain the facts and theorize the concept of half empty and half full of water level in the glass. So ultimately, a kid grows with different experiences until adulthood.